Hi everybody, my name is Cameron and I am creating this YouTube channel to kind of just share about my Crohn's disease. So 2 years ago, actually this week, I got diagnosed with Crohn's, and for this video I'm going to kind of share my introductory to it and kind of explain it. So I created this channel for my class just to share about Crohn's and my story along with it and how to manage it and how to take care of it, all that. So I was diagnosed 2 years ago, actually this week. So I'm fairly new to it, but I kind of know a little bit about it since it's my life now. So Crohn's is an IBD, an inflammatory bowel disease. There's no cure for it. You take medicine for it, but there's no absolute cure. So in March 10th was when I was admitted to the hospital. So the backstory to that is I was playing soccer. I was very active, but I just started feeling really bad. My chest would hurt. I was tired all the time. I wasn't playing as good as I usually am in soccer. Not that I'm that great, but I just wasn't doing that good. I lost a lot of weight, and I'll show you some pictures. I'll pop them up. And so here I am at 95 pounds, 90 pounds. I was 115 before that. And I just was losing weight, and it was slowly over time. So that's why my coaches and my mom and my dad, they didn't really notice that well. But I started saying I was not feeling good, I was sick, all this, and finally they took me to the doctor. The first time I went, they're like, it's just acid reflux, and so they gave me omeprazole. So I started taking omeprazole. It was not working, and one of the main causes for Crohn's is stress. And during that time in my life, I was dating this guy that was just stressed. It was really bad. He was stressing me out all the time. And one way to show that he was is one day I woke up really, really sick. And I told my mom, and she's like, okay, we're going to your pediatrician. Because I was 7, I know you just turned 17 at the time. I was 16 to maybe 17 at this point. I think I just turned 17. So I texted my boyfriend at the time. I was like, I'm not coming to school. I'm going to the doctor. And he was like, you're always at the doctor now. You need to be at school. I had a surprise for you, blah, blah, blah. The surprise wasn't at club. He wanted me to sell. Anyways. So, yeah. I was really stressed out at the point. And it was arguments all the time. So, I get to the doctor, and they take my blood, and they're like, does anyone in your family, have Crohn's disease? I'm like, well, my cousin does, but I don't see how that would, affect me, because it's genetic, usually. So they're like, I don't think it's that then. So they draw my blood, test my levels. They're like, yeah, you have pretty bad symptoms. Next day I go to school, come home. My mom's like, hey, how you feeling? I'm like, same as always. And she's like, well, the doctor's called. They got your test results back, and you need to go into a colonoscopy, as soon as possible. So I scheduled it for not the next day, but the next, because you have to prep. So my prep, if you've ever had a colonoscopy, you know it is just, it's awful. You can't eat anything, and you have to take laxatives, and it's just a day straight of that. And it wasn't too bad during that time because my appetite wasn't good, and I wasn't really eating. But now that I'm healthy and I do eat when I have to prep, it's bad. It's pretty rough. But anyways, during that time, it wasn't too horrible. But I prepped, and I'll show you a picture of me prepping, and well, not prepping, but the next day while I'm prepping for the surgery, while I'm in my gown and everything, because I joked around. I didn't think it was serious, so I was like, guys, I'm in my new fit, and I had me in a gown and stuff, and I'll show you guys some of that. But so I was starving, and they're like, worst case scenario, is Crohn's. And I'm like, man, I just really want a burger. And Mom's like, well, it's not going to be worst case scenario. You're going to be fine. So I go in the surgery, and colonoscopies are 30 to 45 minutes. I don't remember how long mine was, but I feel like it was a little longer than that because they could just not get in there. My bowel was so inflamed. And I wake up from the surgery, and there's a new IV in my arm, like right here. And they're like, I'm like, well, what is this? And they're like, well, let your parents explain that. And I didn't push it because I'm starving, and they're like, do you want a popsicle? I'm like, yeah, I want a popsicle. Like, what do you think? I'm starving here. So I get a popsicle, and I swear that's the best popsicle I've ever eaten to this day still. And they wheel me to a room, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. And so then my dad and my mom are like, yeah, they think it's Chrons disease. So I go and get rest, and I have to stay for a couple of days. And while I'm there, they've given MRI, and they just do kind of like a couple of tests. And I'll show you guys my PICC line too. My PICC line was what gave me my medicine to like kind of like some steroids and stuff like that to like get my gut back down. And that's what they fed me through. They fed me like this big bag, and it was like, it had like fish, milk, eggs, like all that mixed in there. And like, to me, I don't eat fish, so I was like, ew, that's nasty. But you couldn't really taste it, so it was fine. But the medicine they did give me, you could kind of taste, and it was just like, it kind of just left a bad taste in your mouth. But other than that, I mean, it was fine. It wasn't like a horrible hospital stay. I mean, other than not being able to eat, it was pretty chill. Like, I mean, people came in and checked on me and brought me anything that I wanted for like a couple days, so it wasn't too bad. But after all that, they finally came and talked to me about like what I can and can't eat. And so for me, there's not really anything that I can't eat. Popcorn sometimes does bother me. So like nuts and like the kernel in the popcorn, that can be like can bother people. Like spicy foods, like really acidic. And sorry, I'm going blank here. Yeah, like nuts and stuff like that. Oh, and high fibers. High fibers are pretty rough for people, but it really just depends. Like, if you're in a flare-up, then yeah, avoid those foods. So a flare-up is like because it's an autoimmune disease, so it's when your body's attacking itself, so then it flares up. So if you're like in that stage, then yeah, you avoid those foods. But most of the time, like when you're in remission is what they call it, when it's all good, then it's kind of rough, and you should avoid those foods. Wait, remission is good. Sorry, I'll cut that out. Anyways, remission is when you're all in the clear and you don't, like, I've noticed I can eat pretty much anything when I'm in remission. Like right now, I'm doing really good. And so to get to remission, we take medicine. So I take Remicade every 8 weeks. So I go to the hospital or like the doctor's office where I go. And you sit there and have an IV, and it goes in your body for 3 hours. And it makes me a little tired, but other than that, like, it's helped a lot. There's a lot of other medicines. There's some where you can just take a pill, but the most effective lately is been Remicade. So you just have to play it by ear, see what helps. At first, it took a while for my body, I feel like, to adjust. Like, I would have a couple problems, but since like the last couple, maybe like last 1 or 2 Remicades, I've done really well, and my body has been doing pretty good. I do get tired a lot easily. I mean, that doesn't mean you can't be active. Like, I mean, I played soccer, I ran track, I played basketball. You just have to take it a little more easy if you are in a flare-up, because sometimes that can, like, when I go on a certain medicine for, I can't remember, it's like Flagyl or something like that. That's kind of to help to help the Remicade also if you do get implant. That when I ran it always hurt my stomach for some reason, but now that I'm just on Remicade, I do pretty well. Like I go running sometimes. Being active does help too because it helps you keep it under control. So there's like a balance of like too much and not too much. So I mean, I live my life pretty much like the same as I did before. Sometimes I'm tired and sometimes I do need to rest more than I usually did. So some days I spend the day in the bed. And yeah, it sucks, but sometimes it's just good to like, relax. But other than that, like, I mean, Crohn's doesn't affect too bad. It can be life-threatening if it's not treated. You can end up with a colonoscopy bag, and it's not the end of the world. I personally, I want to keep it under control and not have to do that if I don't have to, but if it comes to it, then, it is what it is, and it'll be okay. But right now, yeah. So this channel is going to be kind of sharing tips on how to manage it, like show you what I eat, show you a bad day, or show you, I actually have an infusion. That's what we call them, the Remicade infusions. I have one coming up, and I'm going to kind of show you it around, which I won't be able to talk, but I can voice over. So, but yeah, I'll show you guys just kind of my life with it and what all I do. Well, this is Crohn's Campster. I hope you're enjoying this, and I hope you listen to the next time I rant. But I will see you next time.